Good afternoon, everyone. Finally getting to see the entire crowd of Flutter community here in India. Huge round of applause to everybody for being a part of it and to the organizers. So being a part of the GDE community or the Flutter community, seeing the entire Flutter enthusiasts who have been seeing them all virtually. So seeing them for the first time, I'm really glad, overwhelmed, I'm looking forward to it. So today's session is not more of a session, it's going to be more of a discussion, more of my experience, more of my learning, and few things that I would like to share with you guys. So my adventure in Flutter gaming. Until now, I have seen Flutter in terms of this super UI toolkit, cross-platform, single code base, animations, most of things, building apps. But I never looked Flutter in terms of building games. That was something very different for me. I was not a game developer. When I started, I was purely an Android developer. But when I saw Flutter, which could do things in a single code base, which was very fast, which could give you that crisp UI, these are the things that is actually a game developer looking for. So why not use it? So that's when Flutter came up with this casual toolkit. And when you have something, why not try it? So just to give you a quick introduction, I'm Kamal. I'm a part of the Google Developer Expert team. I'm a mentor. I'm a YouTuber. If you've seen my WhatsApp Coders YouTube channel, you might find it. Regularly, I used to post, but still, now I'm part of the community, mentoring and doing a lot of community work. And glad to be here. So before I start, the agenda is going to be very simple. But I want to know that how many of you have really tried gaming, not the Flutter gaming? What are the kinds of games do you play? Like arcade, shooter? Anybody? Okay. Okay. Anybody Candy Crush or Clash Royale, these kind of games? Yes. Yeah, definitely. I do have followers do it. All right. So I'm a person who is too much into gamings. When I see something, I immediately try to get that into my Flutter application. Now, why am I telling all this is, as a developer, gaming is an industry where it was somewhere down the lane 5 years, it was just an industry which was booming up. But now it's going to be a $3.5 billion industry. Now, who's actually doing this? People are investing in it. Why are they investing? Because developers like you and me are building games and making business out of it. So when we have so much of audience working on it, why not make that itself an industry? You're not always going to get clients working on e-commerce applications, right? You might get companies or clients working on medical industry, gaming industry. So are you prepared to even face that kind of an industry? So someone comes and asks you, okay, Kamal, can you build an app for this particular game? You would say, no, I've never built a gaming in Flutter. How would I do it? So always have, as a developer, look into all the phases of a particular technology. Not Flutter, it could be any XYZ technology. Look for releases. What is really happening with it? So what Flutter is that? What has that really made Flutter into gaming? So we're going to see that, and also I'm going to share you a few things. And the exciting part is, I'm going to show you a game, and whoever gets the highest score, maybe more than 20, I would be giving a giveaway. So just watch out for it, play the game, send me a screenshot of the score, and get it done, okay? So you might be getting any prize. It could be even a dash or whatever goodies they have, okay? So agenda is pretty simple. It's going to be about Flutter, but Flutter from the point of gaming, okay? It's not going to be about the normal Flutter, which everybody knows about it. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Flutter from gaming perspective. What is this toolkit? Why should I use it? Did we ever use a toolkit in Flutter until now? What are the integration paths? What to explore in Flutter? Projects and games that you can give a try and then work on it. Resources, which is very important, which most of you do not kind of follow it. So when I say Flutter, super cross-platform, single UI by Google for web, mobile, Mac OS, Linux, and then even Fuchsia now. So people have heard about Fuchsia, right? Anybody would love to talk about it? Yeah. Anybody who wants to tell what exactly Fuchsia is? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So have you given it a try? How is it unique from the current one? Okay, can we get someone a mic pass so that I'm a little audible? Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
I heard of Google OS. It's open source to Fuchsia OS. It's upcoming. Basically, it supports all the systems, and it's a multi-platform OS actually. So even for mobile also they are planning. So this is in their roadmap.
Okay.
But to give it a try, I didn't have time actually. I didn't try it.
Okay, I'll tell you something very nice. Thank you so much. So I'll tell you something very similar to Fuchsia, because conference is the only place where you get to know about these technologies unless someone talks about it. I worked on a platform called Harmony OS. Now, if you ask me what is this Harmony OS is all about, it's a product from Huawei. It's an operating system. Again, it's a distributed operating system. Now, what they did was they are creating this operating system targeting all devices with a single code base, that kind of an operating system. Any device you can work on it. Just to give you a simple example, just diverting it from the gaming field a little bit, just to give you a niche of what is happening. Say, for example, you're listening to music on your earpods in your bedroom. The moment you step into the living room, you have this amazing Bose speakers. You know what it's going to do? If you have this, that's what Harmony OS is going to do. The moment you step into the living room, it's going to start playing from the Bose speakers. The moment you move from the living room and hop into your car, it's going to start playing from the car dashboard. And the moment you get into either a mall or an office, it's going to play back from your earphone. So the operating system is not going to look for what device you're using or where you are. It'll keep intelligently, seemingly switching things. That's what Google Fuchsia is also about, which is going to come in future, and that's purely on Flutter. So you know what Flutter is going to be in future if you invest your time right now. So because that's the future. And why do we say that is, on an average, right now I would have like 3 or 4 devices, right? But in future, it's been predicted a person would have 9 devices connected to him, starting from headphones, speakers, watch, earpods, laptop, phones. So when you have so many devices, are you going to check or are you going to decide which device I should play my music or any activity to be performed, or the device should be intelligent enough to do that? Device should be good enough to do that, right? So that is what we are looking for, and that's what Fuchsia is. So if you are investing your time in Flutter, go ahead, learn more about it, and also dwell into Fuchsia. So apart from that, because I'm not going to talk about Flutter, it's fast, it's flexible, it's community. I can already see the community here, so I don't have to talk about it, and I can see so many things happening. Now, as a developer or as an advocate, when I say Flutter, I always invest time in statistics. So there is this client who comes talk to you telling, Kamal, I want you to do a project. You tell me which technology you want to use. You tell me what is the backend you want to use. You tell me what are your requirements. All he's going to give you is the requirements. The rest of the thing is that you want to take a decision on it, right? So you need to know what is the market. How is Flutter performing in the market? What are the good and bad things about Flutter? Because everything has its pros and cons, right? You cannot tell every time something is really good. There might be some other technology kind of very good at it. So you should always know how Flutter performs in the market. By 2022 May, that was the release that we had. We had almost 500,000 apps developed in Flutter. That is the rate at which Flutter is getting developed. I mean, apps and Flutters are getting developed. So you know that who is developing? Developer like you and me are the ones developing it, right? So we have so many apps coming, starting from BMW, starting from Alibaba, AliExpress, Google. They all use Flutter. You are using it on your day-to-day activity, but still you did not know the backend of it is still Flutter. So understand your market, understand what your technology is performing in the market, where it is used. Why am I talking about gaming? I could have picked a topic about animations. I could have picked a topic about e-commerce. But why gaming? Because the industry is booming at a rate of $3.5 billion. So investing in gaming in Flutter is something that you should always look forward to it. And how you can start, this is the session about it. So always, whenever I say gaming, there are a couple of aspects I really look for. Fast, jank-free, super cool UIs. This is what I always look for in a gaming. And it has to be like complete sense of flow has to be there, nothing stopping. That's what I call jank free, right? So when I'm doing this, Flutter, when it gives me that kind of feature, why not do it? So it is kind of justifying it, right? So when I say Flutter is very fast, do I have a number? Do I say that, okay, it's 4.5 times faster than dash, dash, dash? No. I do not have numbers, but you can see at the rate which widgets or the screens are refreshing, at which things are happening. That is how Flutter is so supportive and well built for gaming platform. Multi-platform. When I develop something on a mobile, I can use it on a web, I can use it on a desktop. So I don't have to recreate it. I don't have to call an animator to get things done in a different platform. So it is that adaptive. So it is fast, it's cross-platform, and it also has a toolkit. If it has a toolkit, why should I even think about it? Now, what is this toolkit all about? Now, say for example, at one stop, if I have everything, why would I think about going somewhere? To start a game, I need to know what is the background. I need to know all the widgets. I need to know all the reusable components. I need to know how to publish it, how to add the integration. So I have all this in one step, and that's called a toolkit. It has a collection of tools, then it's so easy for me to build. So did anybody think about there is something called as casual games toolkit and you can use it? No. Everybody knows about Flutter. They would immediately jump into writing a widget, quickly getting a hot reload, refresh. I'm happy to see something happening, hero widget. Give it a try. Casual Games Toolkit is available, free, open source as usual. Give it a try. And these updates you would have got to know if you had observed the releases. Releases is something as a developer, do not ignore or avoid it. Those are the small things that actually takes you up very far in your career if you want to sustain in a Flutter industry. Now, I definitely want to talk about Impeller. Have anybody heard about it? Everybody has heard, right? Okay. Now, when I got to know about this, well, I was kind of intrigued actually to know what is this gaming? How is that Flutter? I can write even an e-commerce app. I can build a lot of animated stuff, but again, it's kind of supporting a gaming industry. How is that it's kind of doing magic and wonder in all industry? That's when I got to know that there is something called as Impeller. Before Impeller, that is before May 2022, we had something called as Skia, which was the rendering engine for Flutter, right? But now it has been replaced by Impeller. That is the reason that we are having this jank-free animations, good flow of games, consistency, quality, fast. How is all this possible? All is behind this Impeller. Caching is being controlled, and also the distribution of the threads. Even if there is a multitask happening, it's getting distributed. So all this is possible only by Impeller. Now, if you see an app that's performing wonderful, the reason behind this is Impeller. So understand this concept. This is the new thing, engine replaced by Skia. So have you seen this wondrous app built by the G. Skinner team? This is one such app which is completely customized UI, where it kind of gives a portrait of all the 7 wonders of the world. You can see that. This app is nothing very different. It just displays this image. The kind of customization, animation, and the clarity and the flow is what makes it different. Now, when you talk to this team, understand what this wondrous app is all about, all they say that is we used Impeller and we were able to get this design. So if you have time, check out this. It's on the Google Store. You could see the flow of it, and it is also open source. The best part about it is it's open source. Clone the repo, and you can start working on it. So you don't have to even reinvent the wheel to do something. Instead of the pictures, if you want to add something into the cuisine thing, you can definitely go do it. So get innovative and try doing it, because that is the best part about Flutter. Next, coming to the exploration. So I know what is the Flutter gaming industry is happening, casual toolkit. Now let me come to a concept of app game and video games. Can anybody tell me what's the difference between an app and a video game? All I know is I play a game. Have you ever thought about it? Is this an app or is this a video game? So when you look at these video games, it's like a stereotype actually. The games like arcade, shooter and all, right? they all are video games. But when you come to the app games, it is more of this puzzle board strategy games. Because if I talk in terms of the technical SDK, Android, nobody is going to understand. All I need is start the game, start playing it, get the scores, hit the players. That's what it is, right? So if I talk in the language of the gaming, that's when you would understand. So when I say app games, it's about the puzzle board. So if you've played a chess, or if you played a Sudoku, those kind of things fall under app games. And the arcade shooter, they all are kind of video games. Now, as a user, it's all a game for me, right? So we will kind of dwell a little deep into what this video game is all about. When I say video game, it's about repainting the screen every time when the user applies the joystick or when he does an input. So it kind of repaints it. That is what video game is. But if you see an app game, it's very different. It is more of a static web page. It's more of an app itself. And it kinds of refreshes, or on the tap of your button, it kind of waits for a player to kind of put an action like touch, move, scroll. So technically speaking, it's more of like an app. So video game is more of a stereotype, app game is more of an app, but the feel that you get, it is like a game. So it kind of refreshes for every frames. That is what the main difference is. Now you need to decide what kind of a game I need to build. So the moment, okay, I got to know about Casual Toolkit, I got to know what are the types of games I can build, an app game and a video game. Now if you say, Kamal, I'm going to build a video game, then you cannot go with the Casual Toolkit. You have to go with something called as Flame Engine. Flame Engine is exclusively dedicated for video games, where it is completely an awesome engine, where it gives you a single game widget. All you need to do is, like how we have an hero widget, you have to just use a game widget, and it properties kinds of falls in to build an entire video game on it. So one such game is the Pinball IO game, which was released in the Google I/O. Give it a try, see how it works. So if you say, Kamal, no, I'm not interested in video games, I'm more of an app game person, then definitely you have the Casual Toolkit, which I'll show you in a minute how to create one. So as I told you, very good ventures. They came up with this pinball. It is still free. It's still open source. Give it a try. See how it works. At the same time, give a try with the app game also and see the comparison. What was the backend and how the Flame and the Casual Kit kind of differed while building up these games. That is where you stand out different from the crowd. Because just building another game, it's not going to make any difference. So as I told you, they used a Flame engine, they used a gaming loop, they used Forge 2D, and then also the architecture was amazingly they've done it, and this game was able to sustain with so many user inputs, and still it did not have any crack or any flaws, and it was built amazingly. Gaming is always not about good UI fast, it's also about responses. If your game is not able to take pretty good amount of responses or interactions and it kind of gets stuck, then there's no point in having it as a game, because always it's a multiplayer, lot of people are going to use it. Okay, coming to the Casual Games Toolkit, as I told you, it's 1 point for everything. Now when I say 1 point for someone who's a beginner, if I'm into Flutter and I want to build something new in a gaming industry, I'm not going to learn the niche and corner of the gaming. I'm not going to learn what is controllers. I'm not going to learn what are the keys that I have to use. So this toolkit is going to make it very easy. It's just like the Visual Studio toolkit. If I have to build something, it gives me a template, right? It's already pre-built for you. So all you have to do is plug in the right switches. That is what you have to do as a developer. That's the best part about it. So as I told you, it is a single code base. Integrations are ready. As a developer, as I told you, if I'm going to do a game, I need to connect to a Firebase. So am I going to keep on finding out what are the ways to connect to a Firebase to store the score values? No. I already have these integrations implemented. So I have readily things available for me. Why would I even care to get the connections done for this? So integration is ready. Single code base, it is open source, and finally, the gaming template. Now coming to the game template part. Now if you say, Kamal, I'm not into a video game person, I'm more of an app game person, I want to use the Casual Toolkit. Now how do I start with it? Very simple. You already have a template which is already readily built for you. All you have to do is just clone that repo and start using it. And it already has all the things that you need for gaming, and it all now depends on different assets, different functionality, and your theme of gaming. That's it. That's the only thing that you'll have to change. The rest all remains the same. So that you have a menu, you have sound, music features available, you have ads, you have in-app purchase, you have the achievement scoreboard, which is very important. So the moment you clone this, you get a template already available. It's just that think what you need and what you don't need, remove it, add it, and you're good to go with the gaming. Since you're already aware of Flutter, you know how to program in Flutter, you know the Dart concepts, why don't you start building a game? You already know the concepts, right? So the moment you clone the repo, this is how it's going to look like. So as I told you, all the things that I mentioned in the previous slide is what you see here. You see the ads, you see the music, you see the playlist, play session, style, everything is available. So it gives you a very well-organized structure. All you have to do is just add your code at the relevant spot and you're good to go. Now coming to the integrations, as I told you, integration is very important because you cannot solely work on just Flutter and your toolkit. You definitely need to connect with various platforms, whether it's cloud platform, Firebase to store the scores, or the Google Ads to push it to the store, because you're not going to do games or create games for charity, right? You're going to make money out of it. You need to monetize it, right? So how are you going to do it? You definitely need these Google Ads. You need the backend to maintain it entirely. So coming to the Crashalytics, very important. As a game developer, every time something crashes, you need to know. In an app, you have dev tools. You can easily find out where your app is not performing. You can kind of review it, do it. But in a gaming world, how are you going to debug it? So we have something called as Crashalytics. All you have to do is enclose Crashalytics around your widgets, and you get the reports in your console. So that is how Flutter is so easy and kind of spoon feeding you with a lot of things. It's just that you have to give it a try. So coming to the games part, what are the kinds of games that is being developed? All I know is the pinball, but definitely there are tons of games being developed, and I'm also going to make you play a game after this so that whoever scores wins prize. It's just not one. If everybody gets a good score, definitely you're going to win one. So if you want to get into the gaming part, you want to know more about it, get onto this website. You will find all the games being published. You have a game that has not been published, also you can try it over here. So this is the puzzle game, which is already pre-built. You have a template, which I was talking about, the template that is available. So it's a pre-integrated module with in-app, everything. So you can download it. It is free. It's open source. Try it out. You can change the entire thing according to your needs and give it a try. And the crashing report is available. That's the amazing part about the toolkit. So these are also a couple of games that has been built: Omnichess, Orbit, Planets, 4Pick. These are very simple games, but these all are being built, and if you look at it, you would be astonished with the way the animations, everything is being done. So that kind of motivates you to kind of give it a try and see, because as a developer, we always been into hello world, notifications, sending items to the cart. Give it a try and see. You might come up with another billion-dollar game industry. So you never know, another Clash Royale or anything else, or a shooting game. So to get started, as I told you, all you have to do is just clone a repo. That is all you require. Nothing more than that, which I would be sharing it in the next slide. It's just a link. Clone the repo, run it on your app, and you have a game started already. All you have to do is change the theme, everything. And there is a quick start video to guide you through the process. And there's the Discord channel, which is also available for the Flutter gaming enthusiastic who can actually work on it. And there's a setup account which you have to do in case you want to monetize this app, put it on the store, write games, testing, deploy, and then share it, which is very important. I still see people developing apps or gaming or anything, they do not share it. They confine it to themselves. Please share it to the communities. You will definitely have open source contributions happening. You would have a team of people watching out for it, improving your app, giving suggestions, and at the same time working on the bugs that you have. So this is the game template if you want to take a screen or freeze this, I'm going to keep it for a couple of minutes, seconds, take a screenshot, give it a try for Flutter gaming template. So coming to the resources, so this was the game that I was talking about. There's this called as Elf Dodger. This was built by a 13-year-old student. Her mom is a GDE actually, her name is Renuka. His son was so passionate about Flutter, he wanted to give it a try. When a 13-year-old school-going boy can build this Flutter game just by watching videos and doing it, definitely we all can give it a try. So this is about an Elf Dodger, very simple game. So all you have to do is just ensure that you're not hit by these huge stones and you collect the prizes. You have a score, you have a health. So your health keeps deteriorating when a stone hits you, and the moment you collect the prize, your score keeps increasing. A very simple concept, nothing very fancy, nothing complicated, nothing crazy animations, right? So things like this is possible with Flutter. Have you ever thought about it? Even if you want to start something, I'm sure this is just a 13-year-old boy doing it. You can definitely come up with more super funny or innovative games. So this is the game that I'm going to allow you all to play. Whoever gets a score more than 30, send me a screenshot. I'm not going to tell right now do it because I know it's going to be busy. Send me a screenshot. You know where to contact me. I'll give you the details. So whoever gets the highest score more than 30, you will get the prizes to you, okay? So I'm just going to play this video. I want you to listen to his experience, how he got into Flutter, what really motivated him to do, and give it a try. So I'll just play this.
My name is Shaurya Kelkar, and I'm here today to share my experiences of Flutter game development. So where did I start? So I started on a different platform creating games like Flappy Bird game, Shoot the Monster game, or even Pac-Man. But the big billion-dollar question was, I couldn't share my game with my friends because they had different devices, like different phones, like iOS and Android. Then I stumbled onto Flutter, which supports all of those platforms, and this is a multi-platform. And in Flutter, I started learning it, and I headed in the direction of Flutter game development. In Flutter game development, there are many ways you can create a game, like Flame and Unity packages, the Flutter Casual Game Toolkit, and pure Flutter itself. So this game, the F-Dodger game you're going to see now, is made in Flutter and Flame by me, and has loads of functionalities like quality detection, score, and health. These components or functionalities are in most games. I hope you like my game, and please do share some tips and feedback on my Twitter or my YouTube channel. Thank you.
So I was really amazed by his passion for Flutter, and as he told that when he was building a lot of games and playing, he had people only looking into Android or iOS. He was like, where will I start? How will I ensure that it's like cross-platform? So that's when he kind of stumbled in Flutter, and he started on his journey in building one. He is one of the youngest members trying out Flutter in London. So you can get connected to him, and this is the link where I want you to go home, try it out, and let me know or share the screenshot. Whoever gets the highest score definitely wins a goodie. So you want to make a note of this game, definitely do it. And you might win a dash, or you might also interact with this person, or I might talk to you personally and get you featured in one of the YouTube or something like that. Yeah, another thing, game is not all about VS Code, get an installer, IDE, get things done, complicated, toolkit, clone, no. Simple, you have internet, you have a system, you have a browser, you're good to go. Dartpad supports gaming as well. That is also something which I'm sure most of the developers do not know about it. This was the game that I played in the Dartpad, which I was able to do it. It's absolutely running fine. So where can I find these kind of templates or these kind of flexibility or easy steps for you to do it? So Flutter does that for you. Give it a try on the Dartpad. If you have an idea, go ahead and do it. Direct straight, and you can get your gaming app running in seconds. So that's the link for the Dartpad, or just go to Google and type Dartpad Flutter games. You would get, this is the first link that you would find. So resources, I always believe and trust only most of the time the Flutter docs and the Dart docs. That's more than enough to start with something if you're really looking for or to expand your knowledge. So these are the resources that I go. Community, last point, be a part of the community always. It's just not being a part of Twitter, Facebook. There is something called as Flutterista. You want to be a part of it, which is for women dedicated Flutter group. There is Hump Day Q&A. Throughout the globe, we have Flutter developers being a part of it. So if you want to be a part of this Hump Day Q&A, let me know. I'll get you connected with all the Flutter developers. There is Stack Overflow. There is Discord channel as well, exclusively for games. Be a part of it. Let's get connected. Because Flutter cannot be without you guys, without community. I'm sure Flutter wouldn't have flourished till here. Because there are technologies which are equivalent to Flutter, but the community is very important and predominating factor that actually plays a very important role. And that's why we are here celebrating this day with the first Flutter conference in India with a huge success. Yeah, and very good news, we have Flutter Forward coming in Jan 23rd. That's another thing to expect. It's happening in Kenya, Nairobi, and it's also happening virtually. So if you're not able to be there in person, you can still attend the virtual conference. So looking forward to it. Jan 23rd, we have a lot of updates happening. If you are a Flutter enthusiastic, want to learn more about Flutter, stay tuned for these updates, okay? That's it from my end, and these are the links where you can follow me, or after this session also I'm available because I know it's a break you have to take. So I'm there to answer all your questions. Get connected to me. I would love to talk to you, share your experience, and thank you so much. And today I think I'm kind of given a different view of Flutter where it's just not about building apps, it's more also where you can touch on the gaming field. Thank you so much.